Has your fridge ever come open while you're driving? And has your shit gone everywhere? Has your freezer ever done this crazy shit before? Where everything is melting, but yet there is snow building up along the top. I know why it's doing it. I know why I'm having these problems. And we're gonna fix it right now. So here we go. Yeah! Got issues here. Lots of issues. Ah! So, brand new truck here, brand new fridge, but I have a problem with the fridge. Problem with the fridge initially was that the seal around the door was not properly installed. And it wasn't fully seated, if you will. So, what would happen is when the door is closed and there's a gap in the seal, and you're not getting a perfect seal, you'll get humidity and moisture to go into your freezer and everything, and it won't stay cold, and it won't stay frozen. And this crazy shit will happen. See, there's ice on top of it, but it's not frozen. It's not frozen at all. Not even close to being frozen. See, this is bullshit. So what we have to do is we have to, the proper way to fix this, and we're gonna fix it right now. We're fixing it. First thing you have to do is empty your fridge and freezer, and you have to turn this thing off. Okay, and you have to let it defrost. It has to defrost, okay, for it to be done right. So you turn your freezer off. Turn the fridge off, leave it open, let it defrost. But what you want to do is take some paper towel, okay, and lay it down in the front of your fridge here on the floor, because what's going to happen when the ice melts, there's going to be a lot of water everywhere. So what I like to do is I put a couple of paper towels down on the floor here. I'll show you this. Hold on, I'll show you in a second. And then I like to put a couple of paper towels inside the fridge too, because I don't want all that water going all over my truck. Not that it's a lot of water. Depending on how bad your freezer is, it can get pretty ugly. Take your drip pan out from underneath your freezer. Lay the paper towels down like this, and let this son of a bitch dry out. We'll be back when that happens. All right, we're back, and as you can see, all the ice is melted, and if you look over here, you'll see that this is all soaking wet. So it's a good thing we put down the paper towels, so that way we didn't make a mess of our truck. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to get some more paper towels. You want to make sure the entire thing is as dry as possible. And you want to make sure you didn't leave any ice stuck up in the cracks and the crevices and the corners and all that stuff. You want it to be as dry as possible everywhere you go, so that way you don't have any moisture whatsoever inside the refrigerator or the freezer box. Like I said, just get it as dry as you can. Other places to look for moisture. Reason why I told you guys to take out that drip tray is you're going to get moisture underneath and in the back, especially if it's freezing up like it did. You're going to get moisture up underneath here on the bottom of it, and in the very, very back on the lines and all the thermostat cables and all that stuff. So you want to try to make sure you get that all dry and get... Oh, you hear that? See, there's a big piece of ice still in there. Wow. Holy cow, that's a big one. So yeah, so when you're pulling these big ice cubes down like this, you want to make sure you don't break the little wires Look at that. You want to make sure you don't break the little wires that are attached to the thermostat and stuff. Because if you break that, you'll be in trouble. Wow, look at that. See that? That's not going to make it run efficiently. So yeah, so I'm going to finish drying this thing out, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, we're back. Now that your freezer and fridge are completely dried out, you want to put all your stuff back. Okay? Is that everything? Did I forget anything? Okay. Alright. So once you get all your stuff put back in, you want to turn the fridge back on. Once you turn this knob, you should hear it start. So listen for it. Okay, I think I heard it. I'm gonna set this to number 4. It goes all the way to number 5, but I'm setting it to 4, so my my water bottles don't freeze. Okay. Okay, now once you get everything put back in, fridge turned back on, all that good stuff, you want to make sure this seal around the door is completely sealed. You don't want to see any gaps in that rubber seal there. See it? You want to make sure it's touching all the way around. It's going to be kind of hard to check the top, but that's where you come in here and you make sure that this is all pushed in right, especially along the back here and the bottom where you won't be able to see the seal. Because before, the problem was this thing was like this. It was loose in certain areas and it was just flapping all around. So I had to make sure I pushed it back in to its groove so that way properly we got a proper seal. Because if not, you'll have to redo this whole thing all over again. And with a proper seal, it should have a little bit of suction to it. A little bit of suction to where it's not so simple to open. See, that's how you know you got a good seal. You can't just fling it open with ease. It's got a little bit of suction from that seal. See? Alright. Now, so, you're driving down the road and the truck shifts to one direction, the water bottles might push this door open and your stuff might go flying everywhere. Well, that's your fault for not making sure that you latched your door. And it happens. You pull over real quick, you throw everything back in, and it's no big deal. The problem is when there's not a good seal around the door, and then also the problem is these damn latches that these refrigerators come with are complete shit, garbage. Okay? The concept is simple, right? No problem. Even the one that I had in the International ProStar, good concept, but it didn't work. Problem is I'm going to show you. I'm going to latch this now. We know we have a good seal, see? But when you're taking a turn or something and the stuff in the fridge falls towards the door and wants to push the door open, watch what happens to the lock here. And watch what happens to the door. See that? Now, if the stuff is pushing on the door and you have that gap, you're letting moisture in. And that lock, this latch system, sucks. So if you have a fridge, full of water bottles and stuff, I don't have it full of water bottles down there. I have all my heavy stuff on the door, as you can see. But if you have a lot of water bottles down there or a lot of heavy stuff and the weight shifts, and this little lock here does that shit, and you're driving down the road and you don't know it, and a couple hours go by, you're gonna get that freezer problem. You're gonna lose all of your cold air, and you're gonna let moisture in, and it's gonna be all fucked up. So, how do we fix this problem? How do we keep it sealed while driving at all times? We say, fuck to hell with that, okay? And I'm going to show you how to fix it and prevent it from happening. So, here we go. Okay, you guys, here's how we're going to fix this thing from opening up and losing all the cold air in your fridge and it becoming a problem. I like to use Velcro. Velcro is the easiest, cheapest way to make this work. You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy rolls of Velcro, okay? Velcro is good for a lot of things, you know, in the truck because it's strong and it's affordable. So what you want to do first is you want to kind of measure out how long you need it to be, and you know, you don't need it to be a giant piece. So you figure, let's say half of this. So in a sense, you need a small piece here, a small piece here, and then you need a long piece of the opposite side to be the strap. So what we'll do is we'll cut this down the middle, obviously, to separate the two. And we're going to use the rough side as our anchor, if you will. And before you stick your Velcro to anything, you want to make sure your surface is as clean as possible. Now that you got your area clean and dry, and you got your Velcro here, you're going to want to cut this in half again. Cut this, and then you're going to go and stick it on there. Make sure you leave this piece long. Obviously you don't want to cut them both in half. Okay, now watch this. It's as simple as this. What you're going to do is stick it like this, right? And your door's open. Door shut. You pull it a little bit, and now it ain't going to go nowhere. See, now that you have your Velcro on there, we could get rid of this piece of junk. Another good thing to have on you as a truck driver is a multi-tool, okay? We'll talk about that in another video, though. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, that won't be clanging around and banging around while we're driving. But yeah, get yourself one of these things. They're great to have, especially when you're in a jam. These are great. I personally like the Gerbers, but any one will do. I'm going to get me another Gerber, because it slings open. It's really nice. Anyway, so now that you got your Velcro here, like I said, all you got to do is open it. Open your fridge. Shut it. And that's that. And it ain't gonna come open. Easy little fix. Little $2, $3 fix. Highly recommended. Yeah. 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 Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you later.